we saw that the RBI measures have brought about 21 billion of inflows, of which 17 roughly is FCNRB bonds. How do you see this impacting the bond markets in India?
Definitely, there's a lot of positivity around FCR deposits, and we believe that the money will come across. But I think markets will start also looking at what's happening on crude and global trade policies. Coming to a second question on liquidity.
Hello, investors. Welcome to Moneynomics by Axis Mutual Fund. I'm Shalini Gautam, and I have with me our head of fixed income, Devang Shah. Today, Devang will be talking about the developments in bond markets, the impact of RBI measures, how he sees the flows coming in, and how does he view the markets globally in terms of central bank policies. So, Devang, let's begin. We saw that the RBI measures have brought about 21 billion of inflows, of which 17 roughly is FCNRB bonds. How do you see this impacting the bond markets in India?
So, two three things first, Shani. So, you're right. I think the last fortnight, again, there has been a lot of volatility in our markets, thanks to a couple of things. One is this entire expectation. There was a lot of exuberance built in that if CNR policy and this entire regulation changes and policy changes which RBI has got across will attract a lot of dollar flows. But the pace has been much more slower. That was the anticipation. Now, 20 billion is quite a good number. And in fact, as per me, if we extrapolate this and by the end of September, the policies is still available till the end of September, I think our perspective is we will actually garner 60 to 70 billion only by the way of FCNR deposits. So, first of all, the amount is quite strong. But what has happened is that somewhere down the line, the entire exuberance around bond markets has been slightly got impacted because of the pace of FCNR deposits. Secondly, crude uncertainty. And the third part is across what is happening on global yield funds. So, yeah, there's a lot of positivity around FCNR deposits, and we believe that the money will come across. But I think markets will start also looking at what's happening on crude and global trade policies. Coming to a second question on liquidity. I think our estimate says that if we look across at overall banking liquidity, today banking liquidity is close to 5 lakh crores positive. Entire FCNR money, once it comes through, will see excess liquidity or durable liquidity going around 7 to 8 lakh crores. So our understanding is that liquidity is going to remain positive for the entire next quarter till September 2026.
Okay. You spoke about the oil prices coming up again. We have seen the resurfacing of tensions in West Asia. Now, how do you see this impacting the bond markets globally? And do you see any interest rate hikes happening? We've also seen a hawkish Fed. So, how do you see these developments?
So, collectively pointed out, I think, as I told you, this entire uncertainty has again started creeping in. And specifically, when oil prices start rising, our entire macro story weakens. And the markets started getting worried about Fed hikes, markets started getting worried about India central bank measures. They can also start looking at liquidity absorption or rate hikes. So, all of these worries have started creeping in again. The mood question to address is that will crude price go above 100 again? And what we feel is there are 2 or 3 reasons why oil prices should stabilize. Obviously, we are not experts on oil, and this all depends on how does the conflict pan out in the next few days. But personally, if you ask me, I think there are a lot of concerns about one, what is happening to the US underlying US economy. Secondly, the debt on the US balance sheet is rising. All of a sudden, if you see Fed start hiking rates because of higher inflation, this will create an additional burden on the Fed balance sheet, where the debt will keep on ballooning because your interest cost significantly increases. Second part is when I look across it from an oil market perspective, the maths have changed a bit, where we were significantly getting worried about China being a big consumer of oil. Somewhere down the line, China in the last quarter or the last 6 months or overall during this period of conflict has actually been a big stabilizer in the oil market. And somewhere down the line, they have not been, their oil imports have significantly fallen, which has kept some bit of cap on oil prices. Also, we'll start seeing OPEC increases, Venezuela oil increase supply in the market. So my understanding is that yes, oil uncertainty continues, but I am of the view that US elections, US debt trouble, all of this excessive supply, somewhere down the line, oil prices should see a cap close to 100. But if oil prices continues the way it is, and we see volatility in oil prices for the next quarter, the way Fed has been talking about and the new governor has been talking about markets, we believe that there is a high probability that they will hike rates. and that will have some kind of impact on Indian bond markets too.
You're talking about hiking rates in the US. Now we have a policy coming up in August. How do you see that policy playing out? Secondly, what has changed from the June policy till the August policy?
Right. So the things I think Fed can also probably look at more data because they've also created some 4 to 5 committees, and they would want to look at the outcome of those committees before deciding on rate hikes. So my personal view is that probably even if Fed starts the rate hike cycle in the September policy, and they will probably do 2 rate hikes, and that is contingent to oil prices staying above. Because as I told you, the US underlying macro started to weaken a bit. So if crude prices remain higher, definitely we will see Fed hiking rates, and we can see around 50 basis of rate hikes. Now, impact of that on Indian monetary policy. August monetary policy, because RBI has done a lot of measures in the June policy, and they have been very, very positive about the entire flow coming to the markets. Again, inflation would be transient because we don't know how long oil prices will remain here. Monsoons had a bad start, but July has been okay. The deficit monsoon has still be around 20-23%. But we believe that looking at the reservoir levels, looking at the sowing which has happened for crop season, we don't believe that RBI will be too worried about inflationary pressures right now. Again, let's look at Q1 inflation. Q1 inflation has been below RBI's expectation. And RBI in their numbers has built in crude at 95. So my understanding is August will be a pause. They will probably look at all the responses on the measures, and somewhere down the line guide a cautious tone. But as I told you, contingent to oil prices, if oil prices remain high and they continue to remain high and this ME conflict doesn't settle, that's not our base case view. Our base case view is that looking at US macro, US elections, oil prices will settle. But if they don't, then if Fed hikes in September, I think October onwards, every policy can be live for rate hikes. The total amount of rate hikes which we see in this cycle is not more than 50 to 75 basis. So this rate hike cycle will be shallow. And the first measure which RBI will do before the rate hike will probably absorb the excess liquidity. Because as we mentioned in the first part, that there will be a lot of excess liquidity which will be created in the system. RBI will absorb that excess liquidity. So how the things pan out as per me, I think the next policy will be a pause, a cautious pause, looking at data incrementally. Then if oil prices remain higher, the first measure would be RBI to absorb liquidity, and then probably start with rate hikes in the second half of the year.
Okay, so now against this backdrop, how are you positioned in your funds, and what will your message to investors be?
So last policy only we said that duration now becomes very, very tactical, and we continue to put across to our investors that a large part of their allocation should remain in the short-term funds and very, very, I would say, parking solutions. The entire thought process for us is that volatility will continue for some point of time. The short end of the curve is quite attractive because of this entire liquidity infusion. RBI might not hike rates in the second half of the year, and this entire short end of the curve is attractive on spreads. We advise core allocation in short to medium term funds at this point of time. And probably for investors looking at parking solutions, they should look at money market strategy. So this is our core advice to our clients. Gilt funds at this point of time, I would say, are very, very tactical. And the only positive is addition of our bonds in Bloomberg indices. So I would probably tell investors that gilt would be a tactical allocation. At max 10-15 basis of rally. Large part of the data allocation should be short to medium term funds and parking solutions.
Okay. Thank you so much, Devang, for your insights. And a big thank you to all our investors. Stay invested.
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.